guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I think I finally found a spot that I really like filming at, other than when I need to be in my animal room to film, and that is this couch. I really like it. It has good lighting. I feel like the lighting in here isn't overwhelming. I feel like it's quality lighting. For today's video, I'm going to be introducing some little critters that I've had for a while now. I don't know the exact time and day I got them, but I'll put it here. So I wanted to wait quite some time before I introduced them to my channel because I wanted to make sure everything was going good with them, that I was happy with the situation, that, you know, that I made the right choice to do this before introducing them and then, you know, having to be like, whoopsie, never mind a few weeks later or something like that. So today we are going to be talking about how I went to go get feeders for my snakes, and I ended up now with 3 pet rats. If you guys remember my old mouse, who did sadly pass away from old age, his name was Gus. He was an awesome mouse. He was adorable. How I came to own him was a very similar situation to how I came to own 3 rats. So now I'm gonna just tell you guys about that story. When I ended up owning Gus, I found him when I worked at PetSchmo. He was all beat up and injured in the male mice tank because, surprise, surprise, male mice should not live together. PetSchmo put them all together. They were fighting, he was injured. And then when I brought the injured mouse to my manager was just like, I'll just feed him to my snake, which is perfectly fine because I mean, snakes gotta eat. That's what happens. But for some reason I fell in love with that mouse and I kept just, you know, talking about how much I loved that mouse, and eventually my manager was just like, you know, do you want to take him? Just take him. So then I took him and he lived to at least be 2.5. I want to say he lived to be 3, but I might be wrong and I don't want to lie about his age. So he lived his full life and it was great. Then he passed away. Sadly, mice and rats just don't live that long. I really didn't have any plans to get any more, but I also wasn't opposed to it. It was just not something that I had generally planned to do. So I have 2 snakes right now that will not eat frozen yet. This has been happening for a long time. Something that I've just not been able to get them to switch over to. They want the live thing. They want the real deal. I'm gonna continue working on methods to try to get them to convert to frozen, but I'm also not wanting to starve them, which might be a method that some people would recommend trying, but I just don't want to do it. So until I can get them to take pre-killed or frozen, I've been feeding them live. Now this next part might rub some people the wrong way, but it's the truth. I've become very used to and comfortable meaning I can do it, feeding snakes white rats or mice with red eyes. Not because I think they're ugly. Honestly, I think they're really cute. I've just gotten so used to it. Seeing the same looking mouse or same looking rat every time makes me feel more comfortable, and it makes me not, you know, try to get attached to every single one because they all look the same. These ones are not like the pets. They aren't sweet and cuddly. They're gonna bite you, they're gonna poop all over you, they're not friendly. So it's easier for me to feed them and just walk away and not feel like I'm going to have an emotional, you know, meltdown. It's easier for me, basically, is all I'm trying to say. I became very, at least, comfortable with this routine, where I would go in, buy the rat pups, come home, see the all white one, throw it in there, walk away. Of course, I'd make sure the snake eats it, but you know, I'm just giving you the rundown really quick. So I became very used to doing this, and then one day, I came home. One fateful night, I came home, I opened up the little brown baggie, and oh my god, the cutest rat I have ever seen in my life came out of that bag. Not only was he cute, because that alone would not have made me be like, you know what, I'm going to just become a rat mom. Because yeah, he's cute, but you know what, snakes need to eat, you know? But on top of that, mind you, he was a Dumbo rat, so he had adorable ears. And Dumbo is just a term to describe the ear shape, but anyway. On top of this, he was the sweetest, cuddliest, most adorable. Like, his personality was amazing, and that's what sold me. He wanted to lay in my hand. He wanted me to pet him. He like looked like he really enjoyed when I scratched behind his ear. I could not feed that to my snake. I couldn't. So I decided, you know what, even if I don't end up keeping it, this one is not dying. I just can't do it. And this is not to say that I found him more deserving to live than the other rats. It was just too hard. It was too hard. He was a baby, so I bottle fed him, you know, gave him his milk, rubbed his little butt to help him poop. But I tried to sex it myself, and as a baby, they're a little harder to tell, and I could have sworn the distance between the private parts and the butthole made him a female. I thought he was a girl, okay? So before I introduce you guys to them, I'm gonna get through this last part and then I'll introduce you. So rats need friends, right? This is a known fact. Whether they're male or female, rats need to be in groups. This is not the same as mice. Male mice, I don't think, need to be in groups. Rats do. And I thought I had a little female cutie pie, little girl, little baby girl. So I went back and I asked for 2 more from the same litter because I wanted them to be the same age. I decided to name her Goose. My assistant's sister recommended that name. I thought it was hilarious, but I also thought it sounded like Gus, you know? Sounded like my old mouse and Goose and Gus. So I named her Goose. Goose was around, I believe, if I remember correctly, 2.5 weeks old. She was approaching the exact stage in her development where she learns social skills, learns, you know, how to interact and all of that jazz. So she needed a friend at this time. Since she didn't have her mother, she needed a friend at least. So I went back and asked for 2 more rats from the same litter and to make sure they were females. So I got 2 more female rats. They were doing great. Then, Goose turned out to be a boy. His manliness popped up. The New Year's Eve balls dropped. I don't want baby rat. I don't. This started out with me just wanting to feed my snake, and now I have 1 male and 2 females, and then potentially pregnant females because I don't know. For the rest of the story, now that you know Goose is a male, I'll get Goose out while we talk. So I'm sure I've already flooded this video with cute baby Goose videos and photos. So now, here's Big Goose. So here is Big Goose. Goose is the last one left needing to be fixed. I did get the 2 girls spayed and I haven't gotten him neutered yet. I just need to make another appointment. Goose is the sweetest little rat. And I will get the 2 girls out too in just 1 second. I just can't hold them all at once. Ooh, that's my hair. Anyway, I bonded so much with this one. Obviously, I love the 2 girls too. They're all sweethearts and I make sure they all get socialization and, you know, exercise and enrichment. But this little dude I am particularly bonded with. Can you sit and look at the camera, little Goose? So yeah, I have rats now. I have 3 rats and we're just gonna go through, I'm gonna show you guys their cage and introduce you to each one of them, and that's really just this video. And that's just introducing my little rats because now I'm a rat mom. Obviously, I don't know enough about rats to feel comfortable doing a care video, but I can do a video just showing you what I'm doing. But please, by all means, if you're interested in looking, you know, for rats, don't just look at what I'm doing and think, okay, that's what needs to be done 100%. I mean, I have spent a lot of time doing my research now and making sure I have everything correct and right for these little guys. I still don't, you know, want to say that I know exactly what's best. So please, if you're thinking about getting a pet rat, do not use this as, you know, oh, this is how to take care of them for sure. Like I said, while I do think I'm doing things correctly, I don't want to say I for sure am. I love you. I love you. So this here is Goose. I love him so much. Boy or girl, I love him. My camera died and while I was waiting for it to charge, I put Goose away. Now I have Pigeon out. Pigeon and Dove look very similar. They even looked more similar when they were babies. As they get older, their coloration is changing a little bit. Pigeon has no markings on her back while Dove does. An important thing to keep in mind about rats is while you normally should not cohabitate male and female mice because they will fight or just breed to the death, and there's really no benefit in fixing a male mouse, you actually can cohabitate male and female rats so long as one or the other are neutered and spayed, or both. I do actually highly recommend spaying your female rats because it does help decrease the risk of mammary tumors, which they are extremely prone to. Rats more commonly than not get tumors during their lifespan, which really sucks. They do have a very short lifespan. They normally don't live past 2.5. So one way that does prolong it and prevent some health issues is by spaying the female. So both my females are spayed and my male is going to be neutered. But yeah, that's just a little bit of info about cohabitating males and females. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys a tour of their cage and finish introducing them all. So you guys have met Goose and this is Pigeon, and then I'll go grab Dove real quick and we can meet her, and then we'll do a cage tour and I'll talk about what I feed them and things like that. Okay, last but certainly not least is Dove. Okay, Dove is my other female rat. She is a sweetheart and I love her. Let's try to get a good look at her. So both my females do have the ruby red eyes, and this one, as she ages, has developed a lot of markings on her back that weren't as prominent when she was a baby. As rats get older, it is very normal for them to change their coat. and the coloration on them may differ. One thing that I think is super important to note about these rats, another reason why I definitely do not regret keeping them, is feeders normally are not able to tame down like this. Most feeders just aren't bred this way to be so friendly and loving. Oops. But as you can see, all 3 of my rats are super trusting and calming, and they all have actually bonded with me, which is amazing. So one thing that's very important with these guys is that they do get some activity time and they aren't just stuck in their cage every day. It's important to at least get 30 minutes of activity time every day, but you can go, you know, hours and they will love it. Rats are incredibly intelligent, so I just think it's extremely important to let them out and let them, you know, stimulate their brain as often as possible. And of course, having their enclosure be highly stimulating is very important as well. They need a lot of different things they can look in, not just, you know, food, water bowl, and a wheel or something. They need a lot of room to explore. So I'm gonna show you guys the one that I have so I'm gonna show you the ones I have for these 3 now. Okay, so for this part of the video, I'm just gonna show you guys what I feed them. Their food kind of switches up on a daily basis, but this is just one of like the most basic and essential things that I feed them, and then I will include some of the things I do like to switch it up with too. Okay, so all of this stuff, all of it is for the rats. We're gonna start with the very base of their food, which is their Oxbows Essentials. It's just a rat formula. These things, these are blocks. This just has all the essential things that they need in their diet. Technically a rat could live off of this, but it just isn't. Rats, you know, this stuff is all mixed together, so rats can't like choose what they want to eat and what they don't eat. They have to eat all of it because when they eat it, it's just everything ground together. And I like to give them options and variety, and I like them to be able to, you know, have some lettuce if they want that, or carrots, or fruits, or if they need some, you know, different kinds of grains. I want them to have a bunch of options. So while this is a base diet, I don't think it's a complete diet. So I'm wearing gloves actually because I'm allergic to wheat, which is in the Oxbow. Then I swap gloves to a new pair of gloves for everything else to try to keep cross-contamination from happening and to keep most of this as gluten-free as possible. And I say that as if I'm eating my fruits and vegetables, but I'm really not doing that much. This is mostly, although this looks really healthy when I'm at the checkout, this is mostly just for my rats. Next, we're gonna do the kale. Spinach and kale it is. Next, I'm gonna give them some cucumbers. Now, cucumber is not a food that I do daily because it can give them diarrhea if they have it too much, so I don't give it to them every day. Okay, cucumbers are in. Now I'm gonna give them some green bell peppers. Peppers are a good treat for them. Just make sure they're not the spicy peppers, of course. I really only stick to bell peppers. Now we're gonna give them some carrots. All right, got some carrots in there. I'm just gonna do a few little strawberries, not too many. Pretty much any kind of fruit you don't wanna overdo it on because they will have runny stools if you just give them too much fruit. Something I am gonna do today, which is something you definitely wanna do just as a treat, just because of the sugar content, some corn, and then we're just gonna do their grains and that's it. The Cheerios today are to supplement. I normally do brown rice for the grains, but I am out of my brown rice, so today we're just doing some Cheerios. And lastly, I'm gonna put a few mealworms in there, not very many, but it is just a good little way. I'm gonna get a little extra protein. They're not very high in protein, they're pretty fatty, so that's why I literally only put like 5 in there, just to make sure at least someone gets some. And that's what I'm feeding them today. Voila. Okay, so now it's gonna be time to eat, and as you can tell, they're already coming up here because they see the food. Are you ready to eat? Are you ready to eat? Oh, hello, Goose. Goose always greets me right here. Hi, are y'all ready to eat? So I'm gonna go ahead and do a cage tour real quick. They are eating down here. So I have one big water bottle here, one smaller water bottle here, just to ensure that, you know, if they ever get really thirsty one night, that they always have 2 water bottles. Thank you for the kisses, I appreciate them. He's just coming out and licking me and then running back in. Oh, thank you for kisses, I love them. So we have a very hyper goose right now. He's just really wanting to come out, so sit on my lap while I tell the story of your cage. Can I help you with something, Goose? Why are you so hyper right now? We have a bunch of things for them to climb on, lots of different places to sleep in, different hides. We have another hide back here. We have a bunch of bird toys that I like to put in here because they tend to like it a lot. They have little cushions. A lot of hides up here. They love this one. They absolutely adore sleeping on this. One to climb on. More things to climb on back there and here. This top floor I'm still working on, and then more back there to hide in, and another little sleepy thing right here. Oh, and more hanging back there. They have a bunch of different things to hide in, and then underneath here, it's kind of hard to see because they really have made a mess of it. I don't know what to call this. It's a tunnel, like they can go in it and dig and like have layers and depth to it. So they can even burrow into this mess down here. These I wash once a week because rats are dirty, so I have to throw all of their blankets and stuff into the wash. Can I help you, Goose? Why are you coming out here licking me profusely and running back in over and over and over, over and over and over? Oh, thank you for the, oh, thank you, kisses, kisses. I actually would really like to upgrade their cage to a double critter nation, which would just be a cage extremely similar to this, but it's a whole nother floor stacked. I would say this cage could not fit a single other rat. Thank you for the grooming, I love it. But they're not claustrophobic at all. Like, they have so many different places to hide and sleep and things like that, and especially with their daily playtime when they come out and get to explore and stuff, they are set. But I really do want to spoil my animals and give them the best life possible, so I want to go ahead and give them a little bigger space pretty soon here. But yeah, they're doing really good, and that's their cage. During the daytime it looks like this, and then I have this to go on there at night, and you can see one of them's already back in there. They really like that. So that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting my adorable little rats. They're so cute. I love you. I love them. So anyway, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the rats. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. And just a quick little disclaimer before I sign off. Please do not think that this is me trying to say that feeder rats need to be rescued. I don't think they need to be rescued at all. I've always liked the idea of owning rats anyway. It's just not something I was like planning on, but when the situation fell upon me and I fell in love with that little rat, there was nothing I could really do to stop myself because they were so cute. Snakes need to eat. Dogs, they eat dead animals. Cats, they eat dead animals. They just look like kibble. They don't look like the actual thing. But you know, if you put your dog outside or your cat outside, they'll go hunting sometimes. Cats will bring you birds. Cats will bring you snakes. Animals eat other animals, and that's just how it is. So I'm not saying that the rats are, oh, poor rats because they're being eaten by snakes. I'm never saying that. But I did fall in love with, you know, this little guy, and that's what, you know, gave me all three of these. But I 100% recommend, if you guys are ever looking intentionally to find a pet rat, to look for the pet version of them, not to go get a feeder. One, because you don't know how feeders were bred, and they can be bred very poorly, so they can have a lot of health problems. They might not live very long. I think it's incredibly important just to, if you're looking for a pet, to support the people that are breeding them as pets. So just please do your research and make sure you're getting them from someone who knows what they're doing with the breeding. Make sure that they're not breeding any bad genetics together. And the ones that are bred specifically for pets by actual breeders who know what they're doing can live a little longer, and of course you're gonna avoid so many health risks and potential costs that would come with those. So again, I'm not saying that feeder rats need to be rescued. This guy and the two girls fell into a very lucky situation for them. Just please don't think that I'm trying to say, oh, the poor rats are being eaten by snakes, because no, my snakes are still eating rats every week, even with these guys. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and leave a thumbs up if you liked the little rats, or a thumbs down if you hated them, I guess. Okay, can you say bye, Goose? Oh, that's my hair. Oh, that tickles. That's my ear. You're grooming my ear. Okay, bye.